Hi everybody, Cam Sweet here from the Garage Connection and Central Digger Supply, coming to you today with a rather different machine on our YouTube channel about mini excavators and skid steers. So this is neither of those things. This is a very large loader, and this is another one of the products that is available from the overseas market. And the folks here at Energy Power Systems got two of these things, and there's not really any information out there about them, so I figured when in Rome, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to talk about this unit, we're going to talk about the engine, some of the things that it does, its capacities, and just go from there. And if you're in the market for something like this and you don't want to spend 100 grand on something, maybe this option's a little better. So there's that. Stay tuned. Okay, so this machine is branded as a Manitech or Mtech, as the boom suggests, and it's a 5.5 ton loader. Now, that does not mean that it can lift 5.5 tons. It means that its weight with its max capacity is around 5.5 tons. So this unit has many features packed in that are competitive with some of the other name brands that have similar names. Working our way from the front to the back here. So it does come with a very large bucket. This one happens to have teeth on it, but you can get all sorts of attachments from, grapples to pallet forks, stuff like that. And it does take a regular Bobcat style full-size skid steer attachment system. So really any attachment with like that 48-inch mounting width is good to go. So this one, again, happens to have the bucket on there, and it does come with a couple different sets of auxiliary hydraulics with it. So it's got one set on that side, and it's got one set on this side with a case drain attachment, and it also has a diverter valve here. So if your specific application requires something like that, this machine's already outfitted with that. Additionally, this unit has the telescoping boom. So it has its own independent hydraulic cylinder, and when you need it to, you can extend the boom out the better part of like 4 feet to get to what you need to get to. That's a really nice touch on a unit like this, and some of them don't have that, so that's definitely a plus for this. Additionally, this unit has the hydraulic self-leveling, so as you make movements, the bucket or your pallet forks does not change its orientation when you're making the movement. It stays relatively at the same angle as where you were when you started off. Every single one of these has articulating steering. This one happens to be four-wheel drive like most of them. And a big feature that this one has that's different than some of the other units out there is this one is articulating in both directions. So to turn, it will articulate and allow you to turn. If your front end and your back end get on a different plane though, this has a center swivel here that allows you to not come off the ground with one of your tires. So the front end will move and then the back end will move and follow that. That's pretty nice to have that feature. Very large capacity hydraulic tanks in addition to the diesel tank. That one should be on the other side there. And it also has dual access doors into the cab from either side. And then back here we have a Cummins common rail diesel engine in the engine compartment. We're going to take a look at that part right now. So underneath the hood here, or the back, there is a Cummins common rail engine. I believe this is an R3 point something. They were doing a little bit of service on it yesterday. The guy said the acronym. I can't remember what it is. So this is a turbo diesel. It does have an intercooler as well as a very large radiator fluid cooler there. So that's a big plus to have that turbo action, right? We can see all the different little features. Let me get a good shot at the engine because I'm a diesel mechanic. There's our common rail down there. just a very nice and tidy. Now the other thing about this, because this engine falls underneath a certain horsepower, it does not have the DPF stuff. So that is just a catalytic converter-esque thing. So you don't need to put all that that catalyst stuff, and you don't need any of that. You don't have to worry about it because this engine falls underneath the horsepower requirements of that. Nice little towing attachment right there, drawbar. And some big disc brakes. Extremely robust, well-built machine. Some agricultural style tires here. I think that's actually a split rim. Nice layout. Got our diesel tank right there. Some test points. This is that double articulating swivel that I was talking about here. So left, right turning as well as off camber turning. It'll compensate for all that stuff. Right. Also, what we've got, it looks like there's a looks like almost like a counterbalance valve there, or they call it a load lock valve. I'm not sure if that's what that is. That is definitely, that's some sort of a hydraulic component, and I think that's what that is actually a load lock valve. Quick attach. Your bucket tilt cylinder runs up inside there like so. Just a very very nice unit overall. We'll take a look inside the cab and see what kind of features we have in there. All right, take a look up inside the cab here. What's nice about this door locks open here, right? So you click that in, and it's got a couple of different ways to release it. So obviously you can push this one and open the door, but let's just say hypothetically you got in the cab and then the door was still open, because that's no fun, right? So we'll get in the cab here. This little knob right here, you pull the knob and you can shut the door, and that's really nice. It shows a little bit of what I would consider to be like an intentional design. So what we're going to do, we're going to fire it up so we can get the air conditioning on, because it's really hot. This audio is going to be garbage, but what we'll do is just take a look at the overview of the machine with a nice control layout there. just wanted to kind of capture really the size of or the height requirements that this thing's able to lift to. So, I mean, that's a shipping container. I have no idea if that's what they call a high cube. I'm just telling you, it's like 8 feet tall, and this thing is a pretty fair distance above that. So, if you're in a position where you got to get stuff off the top shelf, or something like that, I mean, that's 12, 13 feet to the bottom of that. So it's a nice unit. The air conditioning is wonderful. I'm a big fan of air conditioning, especially since I live in Florida for now. So let's take this back up top, and we'll talk about what it takes to get one of these. All right, so this machine here, obviously this is a little bit bigger than 99% of you are going to be interested in. There's a little bit smaller version of this that operates a little bit differently. It's got an open cab, but that type of stuff is available. But if this machine interests you at all, and you think that maybe there's room for something like this in your fleet of equipment, unfortunately, you're getting into a range, you're getting into a product that the price of it is up there with, there's quite a few zeros after the price. So this is the deal with this. These cost, I think the list price on them is like $59,000 for one of these, which, it's a lot of money, but when you compare it against other branded units, it starts to become a lot more realistic. So if this is something you're interested in, and this would help you out at all, reach out to the guys at Energy Power. Let them know, hey, I saw the video. I think I have a use for that, and do some business and make a deal. And I hope you have a long, happy relationship with this. And then when you realize that you've grown your business so much, you can get another one. Look at that, they got two of them.